Well, hey, how y'all doing out there today? Well, since today's July 5th and your illusion of freedom and independence is now over, I'm going to put something in your free mind for you to think about very seriously, y'all. For several years, there's been a lot of talk, actually, several decades. These people have been around for a long time. There's this company called Deagel, and I'm not sure if that's how it looks to me. Deagel. These people do a lot of military statistics, a lot of war statistics, but they also list the country's GDP, the gross domestic product. They got a thing called a PPP, which is actually what it boils down to in layman's terms is about what everybody makes and spends as a citizen, individual person, personal person in that country each year. Population, things like that, military budget, all these kind of things. Well, many people have seen, and we haven't heard anything on MSN or big news on television news about this. And this is something to think about too, y'all. There was this weird report out a while back in 2016 that said Deagle had done their 10-year study, and in 2025 they do it in 2015, 2025, blah blah blah, 10-year studies. And they said by 2025 that the U.S. population was going to shrink to 54 million people. We were going to have the GDP and the PPP of a slave nation, third world country. I mean, really bad looking stuff. Like, China and Russia were all going to be running the world. So I checked it out, and sure enough. And so far, they're sticking pretty true. Now the prediction has risen from 54 million people to 99 million. So we're going to go from like 327 million people to 99 million. So we're going to lose 230 million people to maybe 250 million people in the next 7 years. Our purchase power. I just wrote some of this down, y'all. I had to take some notes on this because, hey, I got a brother out there, Jared, and some other people that know how to use the Facebook and use the background stuff. Well, here's my background stuff right here, y'all. So I wish I could put that behind my head and point to it. So I'm not that good yet. But this is some serious matter, so I did write these down, y'all. Let's see. As of today, the United States, the top five countries for population, GDP, the most well-to-do countries, powerful military countries out there, is United States, China, Japan, Germany, and France, with United Kingdom being number six, so England being number six. U.S. has 326 million people, everybody except for China. China, the average person in China makes about $15,000 a year. The average person in these other countries makes about $45,000 to $60,000 a year. All right. Like I said, all of them had decent populations. But then you turn around 2025, just 10 years later, or actually now, because this is 2017, and they update each year, by the way. Now the 2025 thing says that China's going to be the number one nation in the world. India number two, Russia number three, which was formerly 12, and India was formerly 7, by the way. Japan's going to be number 4. They only moved down one spot. And Brazil jumps up from number 8 to number 5. All these people keep about the same PPP except for Russia. Russia goes from making $27,000 a year, average person, to $43,000 a year. Almost $20,000 a year jump. They got a plus. Japan goes from 42,000 to 23,000. They turn into a slave nation. Brazil is already a slave nation. It's already at 15,000 a year. India 7. They stay about the same. They go from $7,000 a year average income to $5,000 a year average income. And China stays exactly the same, about $16,000 to $17,000 a year for a family. So all the manufacturing slave nations stay the same, but they're all the top 5 countries now. They all have military budgets that are out to yang. They all came out of nowhere. How did Russia come from number 12 to be number 3? So a lot of people have talked about this and said, man, this is crazy. It looks like the New World Order is going to change over from being the allies that won World War II. Like a lot of us told y'all, the Rothschild Bank was trying to find the best army that it could buy. And that's why we had World War I and World War II. The only reason, and to pay for it, the military-industrial complex, the beginning of it, the superpower lie in the military-industrial complex after the 40s, the late 40s and early 50s, what we call the Cold War, when we were arming it up. But the New World Order banker and some bitch and Rothschilds were trying to figure out, they were banking both sides. So was the Bush family. Matter of fact, the Bush family gave the only fuel that the German Stuka, the best fighter plane out there, they sold it to Germany all during World War II, right from America. All this shit was a lie, y'all. They were trying to find the best army. And here again, with the change in the world, the change in our climate, the evolution of our planet that's coming on, just the way that Americans have gotten spoiled and lazy, our militaries all around the world, they want to change this. They want a new currency. Now, a lot of people say, yeah, it's going to be a new currency and it's going to be the yen, and they're working hard on it. Well, I just want y'all to think about something. As I was looking at this list, and I think a lot of us tend to forget about it because they're not in the news a lot either, and there's a reason for that too. You know, you got like the Rothschild Bank that has about 90% of the world under its banking power, money-wise. But it's only in countries that really control about 60% of the population. The other 40% of the population, the other 40% of the money spenders, the other 40% that are wanting to buy and trade their own oil under their own currency, is the BRICS nations: China, India, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa. Now, South Africa ain't in here anywhere. That's a very small country with only a few people, and you see a lot of turmoil down there anyway. So but the BRIC part of the BRICS nation, China is in there, India is in there, Russia is in there. That's your top three, and Brazil pulls up a quick number 5. Now, Japan is like one of the best military bases in the world, y'all, to watch the whole Asian theater. That's why Japan's important to China. That's why Japan's important to the United States and the Allies. It has not one damn thing to do. Y'all, it ain't got nothing to do with technology or computers or none of that crap. All the good stuff comes from China anyway. So don't be falling for that Japanese lie. What's not funny about this is, what do you hear in the internet news? What have we talked about? The BRICS nations. They are getting their own currency. They're going to buy their own oil from Syria. Russia's going to buy its oil from Syria. China's buying its coal seam gas, because see, they're the only superpower right now, and they're at the top of the list in 2025 with no population change, not losing people, not losing anything. In fact, growing up a little bit, getting a little better. And they're running on coal seam gas, not oil and natural gas and coal like the rest of the world, like Russia. I mean, because Russia's going to change over, because what? They're in the top 5. China, India, Russia, and Brazil. Why? They'll start changing over to coal seam gas. Why do you think this administration, which is a joke, and all this distraction in America, this wrestling show going on in D.C., the bread and circus is at an all-time high. The drug usage in America, all-time high. Everybody's blind, sleepy, blah, 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 Trump, ah. And the whole time, the power structure of the world is about to change, and we're about to become a third world country. About 250 million of us, your brothers and sisters, my tribe, are going to die. And these people said so. And you want to know why they're right? Because they're about 85% right all the time. Because these people have been doing this for decades. You see why I'm kind of sarcastically laughing? This has been in our face the whole time. We just never put it together. Deagel's report is right, and I got it in the description, so pull it up. And it's going to show the 2025 prediction. Scroll to the top, and it's going to be the 2017 prediction, which is last year. And click to it, and it's going to show you. And look at the difference in it. Because they're keeping up with it as time goes on and events change. Because, see, Deagel uses world events, the banking structure, like I said, man, they watch the power of the world. They look after the New World Order. These are the people that give the New World Order their statistics. This is what they give to the board of directors of the world. How many tanks, how many bombs, how many people dying from war, how much money they're making from war, how much money they're making from big oil. All the things that they took over, they're all fixing to be a thing of the past. The petrodollar is all fixing to be a thing of the past, and it's all going to be a new structure. The people in America are going to be the ones running these 2.6 million miles of motherfucking pipeline run through America, 10 times more than any other country in the world. And almost the same amount of pipelines around the world run in motherfucking America. And y'all don't see they sold out West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Nevada, to uranium to the fucking Canadians. We got Canadian crap coming right through our country. All our oceans around us are completely poisoned and toxic. And you don't see that you're a motherfucking resource nation, just like Australia, The Chinese bought Australia 4 years ago, y'all. Bought 20 years worth of coal seam gas. And guess what? There's 2.6 trillion cubic feet of that goddamn shale oil and that coal seam gas under South Australia. Now, you know what that comes out to? That comes out to about 22 trillion dollars worth of coal seam gas that China has already bought from the Australian government 4 years ago. Okay, actually 5 years ago, and they bought 20 years worth of coal seam gas. So y'all got 15 more years of this shit. When they get down there to South Australia, you can hang Australia up. You can hang Australia up because that 22 trillion ain't that the United States debt? So that means you could buy the United States of America. I mean, just saying hypothetically with that kind of money. That's what $22 trillion is. So think about that, y'all. Think about that kind of shit. Oh, and by the way, they said they lost $22 trillion at the Pentagon, so you don't owe them, you don't owe the United States government nothing. They're sitting there with their thumb in their ass and their ass hanging out in the breeze because they're nobody no more. They're gone. They're buying out and selling our country. Trump, all of them big wheels. Why do you think they got in there and just started this shit? Why do you think they went straight to the EPA and started dropping regulations? Why do you think they no longer care about your health? Why do you think they're ripping out Social Security and have been? Because they know you ain't going to make it to 65. Nobody here is going to make it to get that Social Security money. Because by 2025, as of today, only about 99 million Americans are going to live in America. And you're either going to work for big oil or you're just going to be some renegade running around that they round up in the FEMA camps that they just used on women and children and families and showed you how to easily they can put you in over 800 and didn't nobody even pay attention to that. It's like, oh man, where'd the kids go? Oh, where'd they go? Over 100 different FEMA camps. Over 100 different FEMA camps. No, we don't. Oh, the children are displaced. Oh, 10,000, 12,000 kids. Where'd they go? In over 100 FEMA camps. That's 2 FEMA camps per motherfucking state. Did you think about that too? We're in critical times, y'all. And we got to talk like brothers and sisters, but we got to talk like real adults, real human beings. This is our planet, and they're fixing to change the whole power infrastructure and flip it. Just like the poles are shifting. They see all these things coming. Why do you think China went to running their country's energy, their whole energy power grid? What runs a country, national defense on down, is running on coal seam gas. They're buying it from Australia. They're buying it from the United States. They're buying it from places like Brazil. Yet they got the biggest coal seam gas reserve outside of South Australia. You ever think about that? And they own Australia. Ask the Australians who the fuck own them. Hey, Aussies, because you know I love you and I'm going to tell you the truth. Who owns your country? Thank you. They know. And it's coming here. People in Pennsylvania know. The people that live around me and here in West Virginia know. We know we've been sold out. We've been seeing military helicopters all over these mountains. Everybody sees them everywhere. Everybody sees what's going on. All these things are changing right in front of your eyes. And these statistics right here show that the BRICS nations, the 40% of the world, that's like half and half, right? That the New World Order is probably going to shift their banking over to them. Now we go change the bank. We just got to show a couple IDs and our old bank statement from our old bank and have our money, right? When they change banks, they destroy one country and build up another. But this ain't going to be like the democracy kind of model, the democracy slave experiment that they use. You know, we're fighting for democracy. We're good, clean American people. We take care of the world. And the whole time we built this fucking military industrial complex. Now that it's fixing to change hands. And China's about to run all that. They can run it cheaper. You see what I'm saying? We're 45 to 60,000 a year per person, and China is 15,000 a year per person, right? Or 16 to 17? Yeah, 15 to 17,000 a year per person. India, $5,000 a year per person, and their population is actually one of the only ones that's rising. Yeah, India's population actually rises, and the other BRICS nations, that's another thing. They don't lose any big population. Well, what happened to Germany and France and Britain, right? I mean, they got knocked out of the first top 5. Germany, they've been predominantly white countries, right? Germany, France, and the UK, they shoot down. Go look at it yourself. All their population's cut in half or cut down by 70%. The only white population, which some argue is even white, is the Russians. The Russians' population actually stays exactly steady, and they start making more money. They go from making $27,000 a year to making $43,000 a year. So maybe there is a little something on putting the Russians out there and trying to make Putin look like a king or a strong leader when they're really just fucking throwing it in our face that they're the next #3 country in the world. Guess what? They're going to be the military for India. They're going to be the military for China. All three of them first countries have nuclear weapons. Did you think about that? The first three, China, India, and Russia, all have nuclear weapons. It ain't funny, but it's crazy, ain't it? It's really crazy. I wish I could get this out a little bit deeper, and I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, and I really hope that y'all take very close interest and look at that Deagel report right here. Now, listen, here's the other thing, too. A lot of y'all go to different places, maybe Snopes or whatever, and you research, and I understand that. We want to get some opinions and all this, right? I never look at just one thing, and I hope y'all don't think that I just looked at just one report today and said, oh, my God, look what's going on. No, I've been watching this for about 25 years now. And I caught them about halfway on one prediction, and they were dead like 98% accurate. And I think that was like in the 90s. And then half of their thing was gone, but as they tweak it as they go along. And just how many planes, military planes and ships and armament was built for war, and where that money was going to be made was so accurate that I about died. I mean, I was like, wow, these people are really that good. So when you see stuff up there that's trying to say it's fake or it's not fake, go look it up. Just go research yourself. Very legitimate company, been out there a long time. This is what the super elite, the big players, the arms dealers, the people that do exchange countries, hold people's lives in their fucking hands because they got money and a few fucking tanks and a few fucking planes. Wow. Fucking wow. But hey, I guess all y'all that was worried about the white supremacist racists, it looks like they're going to be gone. Because I hate to make jokes like that, but and I think some of them people might be on to something about, but if the global population right now of white people is 9%, and countries like United States, Germany, France, and Britain are losing half their populations, and that 9% might be 4%, might be 4.5%. There's some big exchanging of cultures, money, land, and lives about to happen in front of you. Now you see why they push that bullshit racism and class warfare. Now you see why they got so much dope out there for you, and they make it illegal so they can put you in the world's largest prison system in the history of mankind, that has the world's largest pipeline system in the history of mankind. That's 7 years away from a solar maximum that may bring in a bright, ugly sun for America. 250,000 people. I mean, 250 million people is a lot of people. 250 million lives, even if they're American. I care about yours too, because I live here, and I'm going to have to smell your dead bodies. I know, as bad as that sounds, that's just going to be the truth. 250 million people get killed even over 4 or 5 years. Ask Stalin what Russia smelled like. Ask Stalin what Russia. Ask China what China smelled like after some of their changes in government, their changes in money, and their changes in banks. 20 million people, 40 million people. Look at when they took over America. I wonder what America smelled like with 20 to 40 million Native Americans just rotting away from the plague. We're pretty evil on each other. We're pretty evil on this planet. But you know what the cool thing is? We can warn each other. We can be there for each other. We can live every day and live every moment as is, and like it's our last. Because guess what, y'all? It might be. And these New World Order bastards are really pushing some heavy shit. That's 7 years away, y'all. 2025 is 7 years away. And also, what happens in 2025? Did y'all ever stop and think about this? Well, one, the Air Force said they'd own the weather by 2025. Okay. And when I think they own it now. But the other thing is, solar grand maximum comes in. Pay attention to your very own sun. I don't give a rat's ass what you think the shape of this planet is. But there is a sun out there that affects us. Earthquakes, weather, climate change, all of it. Matter of fact, it even controls the strength of the little ball around us called the magnetosphere, and blocks out the bad stuff that we don't need. Well, it ain't blocking it out now, and it's not going to slow their grid down. And no electrical grid off the oil and coal power structure. Who's going to rebuild first, and who's going to be rebuild the quickest? With somebody with a rundown supply that's all made on this one thing, or the people that's holding the coal seam gas? Because look at all the things you can just do with gas that you can't do with just fuel, diesel, coal, gas, gasoline, any of those type of fossil fuels. You can't do nothing with, but the coal seam gas, you can turn it into a liquid. You can run a refrigerator. You can run generators. I mean, oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. There you go. And China has bought about all of it in the world, right up under our nose. Everybody's watching. The country with the most people in it, almost, I guess, or billion and a half Chinese, whatever. And they're buying up this one type of fuel source, and nobody's paying a fucking bit of attention to it. Well, these people did. Deagel. Check them out. We're going to go from U.S., China, Japan, Germany, and France being the top 5 to China, India, Russia, Japan, and Brazil being in the top 5. Japan is the only one that, and China, the 2 Asian countries, and we're going under the yen. Think about that. And Japan really being a front or like a middle ground. Whoever controls Japan basically controls surveillance and controls a lot in the Asian theater, including China, who don't like being fucked with. That's why they fight over them little bitty islands, little concrete man-made islands down there in south of Japan. That's why China and Japan fight over that, y'all. Every little bit counts because it's all about surveillance and keeping up with these fucking bullshit New World Order megalomaniacs. That dude, like I said before, don't do nothing but destroy lives and destroy this beautiful planet we live on. So let us live on it. When they come to us, let's just take them out. We can't do much about them, but live in their face. Live in their motherfucking face as happy as you can and dance at the death that they do. Because that's all they're trying to do. I don't see no life in this. I don't see no life in this Deagel report. And this is my opinion on it. I don't, and I'm not trying to I want to say this again. All my videos just got took off. There was something I used to really tell people a lot. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to get this point across to y'all right now. I will never in my life promote you to fear a damn thing. I don't believe in fear. I believe in being scared. I believe in being worried. But I believe in facing it and doing something about it. But if we don't know what the fuck's going on around us, and brothers and sisters don't talk to each other when they know something, or they even think something, they got good information, and we don't talk, and we live in the beautiful lie, and we snuggle up under a blanket of fake security given to us by some New World Order sellout bastards called the United States federal government and their corporate fucking bastards. No, I ain't ever gonna give you no fear. I'm gonna empower you to stop this, if nowhere else, just in your mind. If you ain't got an army, if you ain't got a posse, if you ain't even got a brother beside you, they can never kill you. Because you can't kill an idea, and that idea is right there. Be you. Be free. Live free and die living. That's what we do in their face, you New World Order scumbags, sons of bitches. Pay attention to the Deagel report. Let's get to talking to each other. I'm dead serious about this talking part too. And something else. No fear and start talking. We ain't no different. And be talking about the right shit. See what I mean when I say we got bigger things? Look at the Deagel report. We got bigger things to worry about than what the little things they promote and throw at us. And ever figured out that the bones that they throw at us are bones? What is a bone? If something ain't got no meat on it, it ain't worth shit. Think about that. I love y'all. Pay attention. Talk. Speak. And don't live in fear.